Update. My 26 female husband's 30 male best friend, 29 male, just kissed me and I'm unsure of what to do. Original post. I'm an immigrant that recently relocated to another country to be with my husband after being long distance with him for several years. Needless to say, my husband is my best friend and I love him deeply. Because I've struggled making my own friends here, I'm on friendly terms with my husband's friends. They're all for the most part decent people and welcomed me with open arms, which I'm grateful for. We all occasionally hang out and it's never really been an issue. Recently, I began planning a surprise party for my husband's birthday, and I figured I would reach out to his friends about planning to see if they wanted to help. Enter my husband's best friend, Adam. Adam has been my husband's friend for about 10 years now. He is married with a wife of his own who I am friends with. Adam immediately was very supportive of my ideas and was insistent on helping. Many times he offered to drive me around the city to go to different stores, since my husband and I don't have a car, which I would decline since I didn't want to cause him any hassle. He would offer to use his place of work as the location for the party. He works at a fancy restaurant. Again, I would decline because my husband isn't the type of person to enjoy birthday celebrations like that. But I would let him know I appreciated his kind offer and that I felt he was being a very kind and generous friend. He was fairly persistent, but I figured it was just because he wanted to make his friend's birthday memorable. Fast forward to this week. Adam texted me and told me he had his birthday gift for my husband, but that he would need help loading it up in his car. I asked about what it was, but he just said a joke about how I would tell my husband so I couldn't know. I didn't think anything of it and agreed to help him today. We drove to the store, got the gift, wrapped, but it was big and heavy, and drove back. He put the car in park, and as I started getting out, he reached out to me and kissed me. I was taken aback and immediately pulled away. I asked him what he was doing, and he said that he thought I was cute and he wanted to shoot his shot. I asked him about my husband, and he said that he didn't need to know. I was just overwhelmed and couldn't begin to wrap my mind around what was happening. He apologized and said he thought I was sending signals because of me saying he was a kind and generous person. He then said that my husband can't know about it because my husband would blame me and would divorce me, and I'd have to go back to my home country, etc. I got out of the car and just went inside. My husband was at work, so he doesn't know. I have a lot of conflicting feelings. I know I want to tell my husband because of how Adam went about this proves that he doesn't have my husband's best intentions in mind and is incredibly selfish. My issue arises in how to go about telling him. I am super upset about this whole thing because it's a weird place to be in. I doubt my husband won't believe me because we have good trust in each other, but I am nervous as to how this will affect the relationship. I'm nervous he will redirect those feelings of betrayal towards me. If that's the case, would it be justified? I just need some guidance on how to approach this for minimal damage to my husband. I know it's bound to happen, but I obviously don't want to hurt him if I can. I appreciate any advice. Edit. I have seen everyone's comments saying to tell my husband the truth. I am planning on telling him when he gets home. However, there seems to be some confusion as to what I'm asking for here. I know I want to tell him, but I am unsure how to tell him without it having an effect on our relationship. My husband is a good man, but no one wants to be the bearer of bad news that their friend that they have known for years is an awful and manipulative person. I don't know how to breach the subject in a gentle way. I tend to let my emotions get the better of me, and this event has me thinking rather compulsively. I don't want to hurt my husband more than necessary. Any advice on how to tell him would be appreciated. Depending on what happens, I'll update when I can. Now for the top advice before reading the update. I had an acquaintance hit on my girlfriend in my own house. I caught him following her downstairs when he had no reason to be there. He was surprised and mumbled a few words, and my girlfriend was also surprised as she was confused as to why he had followed her. Needless to say, that guy was no longer welcome in my home, and I only ever saw him once again and simply ignored him that one time. I would tell your husband so that you can control the story. This dirtbag may lie to others about you, or maybe even to your husband. He has already demonstrated that he has no integrity. I would want my wife to come to me when these things occurred. It's one thing to have a strange man hit on your woman, but it's something else completely when a friend pulls this nonsense. Show your husband these responses in Reddit and ask him what he would want his wife to do. Were you upset with your girlfriend or hold any ill feelings? Did it have any impact on your relationship? I am nervous that this will cause trust issues that are unneeded, as I love my husband very much. I don't know how to assure him that I didn't want this. Should I also maybe show the texts between his friend and I? I wasn't upset with my girlfriend. I was upset with the guy. It did make me more aware of this risk. My girlfriend was attractive, and I knew she received attention from men regularly when she worked in a restaurant. So, the event did cause me to be more aware of how real this type of thing is. Men propositioning attractive young women. Although I never assigned any blame to my girlfriend. One thing that my girlfriend didn't do, which I would recommend to you, she didn't apologize or assume any responsibility. None of it was her fault, so she felt no need to apologize for anything. Going downstairs, not being aware that he was following her, etc. This really cemented the fact that she played no part in it. It would have felt weird if she had apologized. So no, I never felt that she did anything wrong. Now, if he had been down there alone with her trying to make advances, and I found out through someone else, or if the guy had mentioned it to me, twisting the story, I would have been suspicious, and it could have eroded some trust in my girlfriend. The main thing for your husband is that he understands that this guy is a snake, and that you need him to understand this, so that he doesn't give this guy any opportunity to stab him in the back again. You must risk sharing the story so that your husband understands the snake's true character. He also needs to know so that he understands that you don't ever wish to be around him again, so he doesn't wonder why you may avoid certain social settings. You have texts where he admits it? Not where he admits to kissing me, but more to show that I never flirted or gave him signals outside of being friendly towards him. Tell your husband ASAP, before Adam tries to change the narrative and get your husband to side with him. Adam was stupid and disrespectful to you, your husband, and his own wife by making a move on you, then turning around and trying to say you gave him signals. I would be very wary around him, and I worry what actions he would take to cover his behind. You need to protect yourself. This was also what I was worried about. Adam seemed a bit unhinged when I didn't reciprocate. It is concerning. I will tell him tonight when he gets home. Now for the update. Hi everyone. It's been a doozy over the last few days and my post wasn't really all that popular, but I figured I'd update for those that may be curious. Before I go into big details, I just wanted to say thank you for your advice. My husband came home a few days ago and I surprised him with his favorite meal. I had a day off and was a ball of nervous energy, so I had cleaned the house, did laundry, and cooked. Basically, I wanted the environment to be as stress-free as possible for my husband because I knew it was going to be hard on him. So, we sat down to eat, and he had been able to tell lately that something's been bothering me and he asked me what was going on. I told my husband as gently as I could, and he was understandably upset. Thankfully, Adam didn't get to him before I did, and he believed me. I know a lot of people were worried about Adam telling my husband lies about what had actually happened before I was able to, but this didn't happen, thankfully. He was really mad at Adam for kissing me, but especially mad at him, threatening me with deportation. We talked it through, and after a few hours, came to the conclusion that in order to protect my residency, we would file a police report for assault against Adam. Thank you to those who suggested this. As we talked, Adam sent me a text message that said this. Hey, I just wanted to check in on you to make sure you remembered what I said to you in my car yesterday. I really don't want you to go back to home country. I've also been thinking of you. Call me when you get this. We have things we need to talk about. Yeah, creepy stuff, plus low-key threats. It had my husband seeing red and me feeling scared, so we went to the police station the same night I told him. They seemed freaked out by Adam's most recent text and agreed it seemed like a veiled threat. So I filed a police report and they are investigating. As other Redditors pointed out, I wasn't the only victim in this situation. The next day, I texted Adam's wife when I knew Adam was working to see if she wanted to meet up and she said sure. So we met up and I told her what happened. I showed her the text, and sadly, she didn't take it too well. It's understandable, but this is what I was worried about. She seemed to think that I flirted with him, called me a homewrecker. I know this was probably out of lashing out, but it still made me feel bad, both for her and me, for Adam putting us in this situation. It's sad I lost a friend. Shortly after I met with his wife, Adam started blowing up my phone, but I didn't answer. I assume his wife confronted him or the police called him. I'm not sure what set him off. He then sent me a bunch of texts that just got crazier and crazier, to the point where I didn't feel safe. So, I called my husband who was at work, and he told me that Adam was also blowing his phone up too. We ended up calling the police, because Adam was threatening to come to our apartment and do what he should have done when I was in his car. Satisfying ending, sort of. He was detained by police for making what they deemed a credible threat against me. It's still an ongoing situation, and I'm a bit upset by how this whole thing essentially blew up. But at least my family and I are okay. The most important thing I'm focusing on is recognizing that what happened isn't my fault, and that I'm a victim here. Also, therapy going forward. Overall, this experience has shown me how quickly people can change once they don't get their way. If you had told me a week ago that Adam was a nice guy trademark, I would have laughed at you. As we went through Adam and I's very few interactions, my husband agreed that there weren't any mixed signals. Adam had completely made it up in his head, or as some of you pointed out, was trying to take advantage of a woman in a vulnerable position. I am fortunate that I got the support and protection I needed. It's certainly a great way to start off a new life in a new country, that's for sure. Anyways, I wanted to say thanks for all the comments and support my last post got. My husband read the post and was thankful that I wasn't dealing with the situation by myself. Thanks, Internet. Also, shout out to my husband for literally handling this in the most amazing way. Lucky to have him, so give him some internet love. Edit: I'm seeing some people saying negative things about Adam's wife. I feel it's important to remind people that she is just as much of a victim here as I am. Adam and her have been together for a lengthy period of time, and it makes sense that in her hurt, she would lash out on the person closest. Adam's wife was very kind to me, and the first friend I made in the country. She would check in on me daily and invite me to meet her friends, cook food for me, helped me find work, etc. She has never once been malicious towards me, and I see no reason to believe she will start now, and I hold no ill will towards her either. In fact, I hope she's able to find peace, because she did not deserve what Adam did to her and their family. The only person in the situation that deserves your negativity is behind bars currently. Please be respectful to her, as she holds a place close to my heart. I'm so sorry you've been through this. My blood is boiling for you. Adam is a predator, and I just wanted to be another person reassuring you that you did nothing wrong in this situation. Wishing nothing but the best for you and your husband. Thank you. I'm thankful I posted on Reddit for guidance. I think my husband and I were a bit too close to this situation and would have tried to explain Adam's behavior away. It was Reddit that made me realize that that was a viable option. Forever grateful to this site. I'm so glad that you're okay and that your husband is very supportive. You definitely did the right thing by contacting the police. If y'all haven't, make sure to get a good security system for your home and property. At very least, put security cameras at all of your doors if you can. Make a habit to check for trackers on your vehicles and such. You may want to consider moving to a new place if that's possible. I'm sorry that you're having to deal with Adam. I wish you all well. My husband mentioned a security camera, but we are moving soon anyway, so we aren't sure if it's wise. I didn't think about trackers or anything. Do you know if there's a common place where people like Adam store them? I'm glad you filed a report against him. Who knows how many other women he has forced with threats into situations they don't want to be in. Also, kudos to your husband for being your rock. Being kind to someone is not flirting. There were no signals. It was clear he was trying to manipulate you from the start and trying to trick you into his car. I am glad it didn't go worse for you, because his threat makes it seem like he had something much worse than a kiss planned. Hopefully you make more friends in your community. Good luck. This was something the investigators said. I don't want to say much for risk of saying too much, but they seem to think he's done this type of thing before. I'm just thankful that I have the support system I do, and the law enforcement took me seriously. Last story. My 31 male wife, 34 female, loves her best friend, 38 male, and wants him to join our relationship. Not sure what to do. As the title says, my wife wants to add her best friend to our relationship. We just moved to her home state, which I do not know very many people. Wife had introduced me to family and friends she grew up with, and most of them are amazing. But when she introduced her best friend, I noticed a connection between them. They never dated in the past, but you could tell there was more than just friendly feelings. We have all hung out with each other, drank on a few occasions, and all got along. Just not so friendly looks between them every time we did. A few months go by, and wife started to get secretive with her phone. Closes out of Snapchat when I come by her, and changed her lock code. No, I was not trying to snoop. My phone was dead and was using hers to call a friend of mine. Enough backstory. Well, last night she asked me if it was okay if she was shared. Confused by the question, I asked, "What did you say?" She repeated herself while kissing on me. We have never done anything like that in our 8 years of being together, and I told her I would have to think about it. Then I asked her, if I were to share her, did she have someone in mind? And she said Dean, her best friend. I got jealous and angry, and started to bombard her with questions, which she got quiet and didn't answer them. Most of them being if she wanted to be with him instead of me, or did you want a threesome or a whole relationship? She didn't answer, which led me to believe she wants more than just a hookup. That was last night. I left the house and turned off my phone. Drove around for 3 hours, and eventually passed out in my car at a rest stop just out of town. Once I turned my phone back on, I had 32 missed calls, and over 100 messages, and Facebook Messenger messages. I haven't been home yet due to working today. I just don't know what to do. What should I do? Leave my wife, or let her best friend in our relationship? Now for the advice. What you should not be doing is agreeing to let him join your relationship for the sake of satisfying your wife. That will ruin you if you're not into that sort of thing. You have zero obligation to go through with it. In a nutshell, what's happened is that your wife has been emotionally cheating on you. She developed strong enough feelings with this man to the point where she wants to act on her temptation. If she outright asks, "Hey, mind if I slept with this guy?" the obvious answer is going to be no. So instead, she needs to mask the idea of as /open relationship to get what she wants. Hypothetically, if the three of you did, it's pretty clear that the only motive behind it is because she wants to sleep with him. This won't be about the two of you. It will be all about her and this man. Ruin you. I'm glad you didn't say ruin your relationship, because this is the kind of thing that really can send someone down a multi-year struggle. Relationship is already ruined. Yeah, this kind of thing has a habit of sucking life out of a person.